Today's video is all about step 4 in my 5x2 financial freedom framework. And this is the juiciest section of all. We are going to talk about the how of becoming financially free, how you will actually get there. We're going to talk about the 2 steps in order to do that. You'll know exactly how to go through each step to put you closer to financial freedom. And then I am going to share my example and what worked best for me in order to become financially free. I am Tiffany Thomas with WealthyTiffany.com, and I achieved financial freedom and became a millionaire. If you're looking to do one or both of those things, make sure and hit that like button and hit the subscribe button, and we're going to dive right in. In today's video, we are focusing on step number 4, which is all about the how. We are going to talk about how you are going to get to financial freedom by decreasing your expenses and increasing your income, and then also by making your money work for you. So the first part we are going to discuss is decreasing our expenses, because this is going to be the easiest part. The first thing you are going to need to know is what your expenses already are. And I discussed this in step 2 of my framework, so I go into more detail in another video. I'll leave a link above and below. You can check that one out later. But I do mention that I use Personal Capital, which is a free app where you can see your entire financial picture in one place. So if you are interested in that, I will leave my referral link below. You can click on that link to set up a free Personal Capital account. And then I also use Google Sheets to update my spending plan or my budget so I can see what all of my expenses are. And hopefully you are following these steps in order so you already know what your expenses are. You're going to want to look at each single expense and decide where you can reduce that expense or even eliminate that expense completely. And you'll want to keep in mind that you'll want to be frugal, because if you can buy something, it doesn't mean that you should actually buy something. So here are some ways to decrease your expenses. You are going to start with your fixed expenses first, those that don't change month to month. So this could be your rent or your car payment or your phone payment, things like that. You want to go through each of these expenses and see how you can reduce them or completely get rid of them. For example, if you have car insurance or home insurance, call your current provider and see if they have a lower rate, and call other providers and get different quotes from them. Since these are fixed expenses, if you can lower them, that is going to lower your expense every single month. And housing is the largest expense for most people. So think about if you are willing to reduce your housing costs. And this is a really serious consideration, because I know it's not easy to move. I moved recently and it takes a lot of time and work, but in the end, I was grateful that I moved. So really think about, if you want to achieve financial freedom sooner, are you willing to decrease your largest expense? And then also, I know that people use Mint Mobile and they're paying around $15 for their phone bill, which is pretty low. So look into something like that. And another expense that most people have is internet. So call your internet provider. Ask if they have certain deals going on right now, and let them know that you will be switching if they don't lower your internet pricing, because there is probably another provider that will give you a lower price if you're willing to switch to them. So even call other providers and see how low you can get your internet price. Then let's take a look at your variable expenses. And this one is more focusing on being conscious about what you are spending your money on. You really want to spend money on your priorities. I'm not saying to completely stop spending money, but spend on things that are important to you, and that way you can cut back on the rest and put that money toward your financial freedom fund. And by doing this, by aligning your spending with your priorities, your goals, what you value, your happiness will increase. So it's not about deprivation, it's about prioritization. Because I know for me, when I have spent money on silly things that I didn't really care about, I often think afterward, I wish I wouldn't have spent my money on that, because I could have spent it on something else that would have brought me joy or happiness, or I could have invested that money to make even more money. So when you are about to spend money, when you're about to go on Amazon and make that purchase, stop and ask yourself, is this going to bring me lasting joy? Or is it going to put me closer to financial freedom, or is it going to take me further away from financial freedom? And if it's taking you further away and it's not something that is going to bring you lasting happiness or joy, then don't make the purchase. We're so used to living in that instant gratification and being a consumer that sometimes it is hard to take a step back and not make that purchase. But once we do that, we are going to be so happy that we did, because we won't be getting rid of that item later, giving it to someone else, or donating it and thinking, man, if only I could have that money back right now. Realize there is a trade-off. Once you spend that money, it is gone. You can't spend it on something else. And I like this quote by Mr. Money Mustache. He says, "Your priorities, goals, and habits will determine your wealth much more than understanding the financial lingo or complicated investing strategies." And I think that is so true. Once we understand our spending habits, what we really value, that is going to make such a big difference in our spending and our expenses. And we don't have to know all of the complicated investing strategies, because we're already saving money by spending on things that are important to us and cutting back on the rest. And another thing in regards to decreasing our expenses is you pretty much know what your temptations are. You know what you're going to be tempted to spend your money on. So try to get rid of those temptations up front. Just as an example, I used to go shopping all the time with my girlfriends. We would go to Ross, so it wasn't somewhere super expensive, but nonetheless, going shopping. And we would all buy something, and that was just our fun little trip. And while it was fun, I really didn't need to be spending that money on clothing. So instead of going to Ross with my girlfriends, I can say, hey, why don't you girls come over and watch a movie at my place? And that's something that is still fun, but we are not spending any money. Or it could just be, hey, let's hang out at my place and I'll make us dessert. Something really simple, but doesn't cost hardly any money. And also simplify your life so you can focus on more important decisions. If you are constantly buying things and then you have to maintain all of those things, your life just becomes more complicated and you don't have time for the more important things in life. So just take a step back and think, all right, how can I simplify my life? Do I have too many things in my home? Do I have too many extracurricular activities? What are some ways that I can just simplify things? And focusing in more on decreasing those expenses, do you really need 3 different shampoos and 50 different pairs of shoes? Probably not. And did you buy something that you thought would improve your life, but now you have to buy 3 other things to go with it? Just focus on keeping things really simple. So comment below and tell me, what is one of your priorities? What is something you will definitely spend money on? And now let's move to increasing our income. Think about the lowest hanging fruit. What is the quickest way you can increase your income right now? Is it to simply ask for a raise? Maybe you haven't done that in quite a while. Or is it simply to sell a few items in your home, especially if you are simplifying your life and getting rid of items in your home? Just think of the easiest way possible that you could quickly increase your income. And also think about what you are spending your time on, and make sure that you are valuing your time, and you could even outsource menial tasks. For example, if you run your own business and you can make $300 in an hour, then hire out someone to clean your house and pay them a lot less than $300 an hour. And that will help increase your income because you are spending time on something that is actually going to make you more money, rather than spending your time on something that isn't going to make you money and that you probably don't enjoy doing anyway. And then of course, there are side hustles that you could get, or you could even get a part-time job or create something that will give you passive income. For me, I like investing in real estate, and I know that takes a lot of money up front, but the passive income over the years is amazing. And then I want you to think about the 80-20 rule. And this just means when you are putting in 20% of your efforts in a certain thing, you are getting 80% of your results. So really be aware of where you are spending your time and your money, and make sure that it is giving you the best results possible. For example, and I share this a lot in my presentations, and sometimes people get a little upset with me, but stop spending hours clipping coupons to save $5 a month and start spending hours learning to invest your money so you can create $1,000 a month. And yes, I do use coupons sometimes, but I'm not spending hours going through coupons. Whatever comes in the mail and I quickly see, oh, I'm actually going to buy this product, then I'll rip out the coupon and use it. But I'm not spending hours asking for everyone's coupons or going through an entire newspaper looking for coupons. I would rather focus my time and efforts on something that is going to increase my income significantly rather than save me $5 or $10. So comment below and tell me one way you have been able to increase your income. And then let's move to the second part of this, which is to make your money work for you, so you are not working for the money all of the time. And there are numerous ways to do this. I'm just going to share 3 different examples. The first one is to invest in the stock market. You can invest in funds or individual stocks or bonds. The second way is to invest in real estate. You could do buy and hold properties, you can do fix and flips, or even commercial real estate. Or the third option could be to create your own business, and this actually saves a lot in taxes, and it can create passive income for you if you set it up that way. So in today's video, I'm going to focus in more on the stock market because that is one of the easiest and quickest ways to make your money work for you. You can definitely set up retirement accounts. This could be a 401k at your work with your employer. And definitely invest the match that they are giving you in that 401k. You can also set up a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA and invest money in that. And you can invest up to $6,000 inside of your Roth IRA or your traditional IRA. And if you have more questions about a Roth or traditional, I have another video for you. I'll leave a link above and below. Or you could set up a brokerage account. This is a taxable account, so when you do take your investments out, you will pay taxes on that, but you can pay a lower tax rate, and I explain all of the details about a brokerage account in another video, so I will leave a link to that one above and below. And if you do qualify for an HSA, a health savings account, you can set one of those up as well. I personally like using livelymee.com. It is completely free. And you can also invest your money in the stock market inside of your HSA. And if you want more details about that, I have another video for you. I'll leave a link above and below. So there are a few different ways you can invest in the stock market. And then as far as what you should put inside of your retirement accounts or your brokerage account or your HSA, let's talk about that for a minute. To keep it really, really simple, if you're looking to grow your wealth, to achieve financial freedom, then you want to be investing as much as possible in stocks or in stock funds. I like using a total stock market fund, and I give the reasons why in another video, so I'll leave a link to that below in the description. If you are getting close to retiring or becoming financially free, then you can invest in a bond fund. And you'll definitely want to keep your fees as low as possible. And another thing, you want to make sure that you automate your investing. If you can automate it, take yourself out, you are going to invest a lot more. So if you can, set up auto transfers to your brokerage account or your Roth IRA and have it go directly into the fund that you want to be investing in. And if that's not a possibility, then schedule a certain time each month that you go in and make that investment yourself. But try to automate it as much as possible. So at least set up an auto transfer to your investment account every month or every 2 weeks. And then make sure and remind yourself to place that order. And also we want to start today because that way we can achieve financial freedom even sooner. We can take advantage of compound interest. And let me show you an example of this. All of that green part of the chart is compound interest. We had $5,000 to invest and we added $200 per month. And we did that for a period of 30 years. So we were putting in $72,000 over that 30-year period. So remember that amount, $72,000 is what we put in. And then we made over $474,000 from compound interest. And I put this at a rate of return of 10%, which is pretty average for the US stock market. So that gives us a total balance of $551,285. So about 84% of our investment came from compound interest. So hopefully you can see how important it is to get started investing as much as possible as soon as possible. Comment below and tell me if you have already started investing your money. Just put yeses in the comments below because I want to know. And then, like I said at the beginning of the video, I wanted to share my example on what has worked for me regarding these 2 steps. And the first thing that I want to talk about really quickly is that I actually set goals. I set a goal to become financially free, actually at age 40, and I became financially free at age 38, so even 2 years earlier. So setting goals for me is a huge part of what helped me to become financially free. And I had smaller goals along the way. I wanted to invest in real estate, so I decided to set a goal to buy a certain property by a certain time. And by setting that goal, it really helped me focus in on decreasing my expenses so that I could put it toward a down payment and increasing my income. And like I mentioned before, I used to spend a lot of money on clothing and on shoes as well. But once I started setting these goals, I decreased that spending. It wasn't something that was really important to me. And I was able to increase my income through real estate. And one of the ways that I did this is by buying another property, getting roommates, and then I also finished my basement in that property, moved into the basement so that I could rent out the master bedroom and increase my cash flow that way. And of course, having rental properties. And I also increased my income by starting my own business, by sharing financial content with you. And I also invested in the stock market. I have individual stocks that I've invested in. And then I also invest in the total stock market fund. So I keep it really simple. I don't have a ton of different individual stocks. I maybe have 10 different ones so that I can keep my eye on them. And then I just keep it simple and invest in a stock market fund. And then, like I said, I like investing in real estate. And I do have roommates, so I get cash flow that way. And then I do buy and hold properties, and I have renters in them, so I collect rent every single month, so it creates cash flow for me. So that's just a quick example of how these two steps have worked for me. And if you are interested in getting started in the stock market, Webull is doing a promotion right now where you can get 6 free stocks by opening a free account if you use my referral link, which I will leave in the description below. So you can click on that link and get your 6 free stocks. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and share it with someone else who would like to hear this information. And hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and hit the little bell to get notified on when I post new videos. And if you want to see even more content from me, make sure you check out the videos on the side of the screen. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And next week I will be discussing step number 5 in my 5x2 financial freedom framework. So make sure and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on that content.